Today, we're going to dive into the 212 Clone Trooper Outrage. So, there are many influencers out there and a lot of comments and different things I've seen out there about the new 212 Clone Troopers in the ATTE set in comparison to the Clone Troopers in the Utapau set. The Utapau set had 212 Troopers in it, and people seem to love those troopers. And the new troopers, not so much. And I, for one, cannot figure out the outrage. So I want to put a picture of the 212th trooper from two different things, from the Clone Wars animated series, as well as the Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, so you can see what the 212 troopers looked like in both of those. And then we're also going to put a side-by-side comparison of both the trooper from this set as well as the Utapau set. And for the life of me, I really cannot figure out why there's such an outrage over very, very minor details. Now, I want you guys, before I do that, slap that subscribe button. I'll have plenty more videos like this to come. But before you make any of your decisions on these troopers or formulate any of your opinions, it's up to you to do your own research. All I'm going to do is help. I'm not going to tell you whether or not you should like one or the other or how to set your standards, but everybody has their own standards that are set. You can have high, super stringent standards. You can have low standards. You know, you could take into consideration that I'm not going to say these are kids' toys because these are definitely not kids' toys. But at the end of the day, Lego is making a toy for adults and for kids based off of, in some scenarios, an animated show as well as a real life, like, adult character. You know, when you look at the 212 Troopers in the movie Revenge of the Sith, we're talking about like a full-grown, like human being with a costume on, outfit on, as a trooper. So keep in mind that's what's going on here. So without further ado, I'm going to put both of these minifigures side by side so you can see both. We'll discuss both, as well as putting a picture of our the 212 Troopers from the animated series, Clone series, as well as Revenge of the Sith.
All right, so here we have our two 212th Clone Troopers. The one on the right-hand side is from the ATTE. The one on the left is from the Utapau set. So as you can see, we're only really going to focus on the helmet because that seems to be where most of the outrage lies. And a couple things here that I noticed that people seem to be outraged with. The orange here on the helmet doesn't come to the same peak as the one on the left, which is a tad bit different from what you see in the movie, in the picture, that I'm putting up on the screen in a moment here, as well as the black in the face print here. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker on the right-hand side than it is on the left. And another thing, too, to keep in mind, the dark gray on the sides of the helmet is something that is unique to this figure that isn't in the old ones. And taking a look at the pictures, and that actually does match pretty well for the two. So here we go. And then the other thing that people seem to be super, super outraged about is the side of the helmet. As you can see, there are holes here right above that people can use to customize. And folks are very, very upset about that hole. I can't seem to figure out what the big deal is about that hole. Like, does it need to be there in my opinion? No, but I don't think it really hurts because it does give people the option to customize their clone troopers, which is something that a lot of people do. Now, I'm not going to tell you which figure is better or that you should or should not like one of these figures because that is not my place to do so. I just personally cannot figure out the outrage on something that is such a minor detail in my opinion. I do like the Clone Trooper. I don't really have a preference between the two. I actually might even prefer the one on the right-hand side from the set because I do like the dark gray on the side, and it just really, the minor details don't bother me. I don't particularly like the stretched out face on the left-hand side of the other one. Now, again, it's up to you to make up your mind whether or not you like this figure, but something to keep in mind is I don't think that we should discount an entire set for one small minor detail and call it a bust. That's just my opinion. That's how I look at it. Just like I wouldn't let one moment of my day ruin the rest of my day. So let me know what y'all think. I don't see why there's such an outrage over this figure. I think it's perfectly fine, and my standards are set pretty high for most things, but at the end of the day, I do take into consideration that, it is a toy, whether or not we want to admit that or not, Lego is a toy, and I am not ashamed to be a collector of a Lego toy. Thank you all for watching. If you're here, slap that subscribe button, leave some comments. Let me know what you think about the figures.